Welcome back to another episode of the North Star Takes podcast. I'm Bailey Paulicki. He's Jacob Liberta. We're a Minnesota sports podcast, so please subscribe to this channel if you're a Minnesota sports fan. And if you're a Minnesota Wild fan, smash the like button on this video because the Wild are the hottest team in the NHL. They own a 6-game win streak, which is the longest in the NHL, and they've propelled themselves right back up to the second spot in the division again. 4 points clear of Nashville as we record this, and 5 points clear of the Blues, who are kind of looking like they might beat Vancouver tonight, but that game's still in the second period. So, and obviously just coming off a massive overtime win against the Avalanche. Granted, you still give up a point to the Avalanche, who are running away with the division anyways, but I think it's more of a momentum building win, especially as we're coming down the stretch here, heading towards the playoffs. I mean, what do you make of this Wild team lately, Liberta? I mean, they got a little hot before the trade deadline, but they've won every game since the trade deadline as well. So what do you make of the new look Minnesota Wild?
Yeah, they've played well of late, and this is what we were calling for. I know I had said I just want to see a stack a few wins in a row, and now you said getting up to 6, and now here we are. They've done just that, and I think they're taking advantage of these home games, which is huge for us down the stretch as we continue to stack points and hopefully distance ourselves from teams like St. Louis and Nashville and firmly put a lock on second place in the division, hopefully sooner rather than later, as long as we can keep this train rolling, really. And I think Bill Guerin, I think we've accomplished everything he really set out to turn us into here down the stretch with the more physicality, bringing in these grinders on the team that are not really going to take any crap. So really, I think this is exactly how you would envision it a couple weeks ago, how you'd want this to come together, both with the win streak and then adding the guys that are going to basically be no-nonsense kind of players that are going to go out there and protect our stars. So it's not just falling on our assistant captain Foligno there. So I think this is great, and we just got to keep going from here, I guess. Just keep doing what we're doing, and I think good things are going to keep happening.
Yeah, I can't say enough about the job Bill Guerin did. I mean, yeah, like you said, adding all that physicality just makes such a huge difference because we were able to slow down a team like Colorado, which is clearly a faster team than we are. There were still moments in that game, especially during the second period, where it felt like Colorado was just skating circles around us. But the Wild were able to reel it back in and slow Colorado down enough to where they were able to stick around in the game and ultimately could pull it out in overtime. What I will say is with the Marc-Andre Fleury trade, obviously it's amazing to get a Hall of Fame level goalie in here. All the fans are excited to see him play. But I think the best part of that trade is how motivated now Cam Talbot seems to be. I mean, he was playing well the few games before the trade deadline, but since the trade deadline, I mean, he's been phenomenal, standing on his head against Colorado. He's won his last 7 starts. I think it's 8 now, maybe. Just insane effort from Cam Talbot. And that's what you love to see because – you're not bringing in Marc-Andre Fleury to steal his job. You're just bringing him in as an insurance policy. And if Talbot takes that as, I need to play better so I can keep playing, and he's not all upset because he thinks someone's coming in trying to take his job. He's just, that's what I love about this team is they're all team first guys. You got Kirill Kaprizov, who's just a freaking superstar. He's going to blow away all the Minnesota Wild single season scoring record, points record, assists record, all that stuff. He's going to blow it away. And he's still a team first guy. He talks about all he cares about is getting wins. He doesn't care about the records. So from day one, that's what Bill Guerin was preaching. He said it's all about winning. And, now it's starting to come to fruition. All these guys care about is winning. They don't care about their personal stats. And it's just a joy to watch, honestly, especially, after a tough Viking season of a team where it didn't really look like it liked each other. And the Twins have been down for a little while. And the Wolves, had been horrible for years up until this season as well. So kind of nice to see it, in the Wolves and Wild, but specifically the Wild, teams that love playing with each other and are actually a team,
Yeah, I totally agree. This is a winning culture now. And like you said, that was the big point that Guerin wanted to hammer home when he first got hired for this job was this is about winning. And that's clearly what we've been doing here. I know things got sloppy and it got rough, quite frankly, within the last month or so, beyond the past couple of weeks, go back to late February, early March. Like it was not a good product we were putting out there on the ice and kind of threw everything in question. Like what's this real team? Are we more the team that started the season hot and we're just could play with anybody in the league, or are we more this team that just can't beat anybody outside of like maybe the bottom feeders or something, just grinding out these games with poor goaltending, no defense, letting in power play goals right and left to just bury us. But then now it's like a a complete role reversal again. We flipped the script, and now we got Talbot playing out of his mind, like you said, standing on his head against Colorado, and then he's just stacking wins. I can't remember how many in a row it is now in the games that he starts, and then now you got Fleury back there, who's clearly, I mean, his name speaks for himself. Like he's got all the cred in the world. So I think now this is a real strength of this team going forward. So even if we're not, the rest of the team isn't really putting their best foot forward every night. I mean, these guys can carry you a certain extent to the point where you're not going to have to. You're not going to have to play that great every night, but I mean, obviously, it certainly helps. And we have the offensive attack that's going to come out and play every night. I mean, like you mentioned, Kaprizov, he's had this dynamic season, going to be the best offensive season by a Minnesota Wild player ever. And he also is leading all Russians in the NHL as far as points go, even Alex Ovechkin, which I think is very significant. I get Ovi's getting old, but at the same time, like he's still producing like crazy. Everybody knows that. And Kaprizov still is having a better year than him. And that's all like Russo said when keep in mind Kaprizov didn't score a goal like the first 8-9 games of the season. So I think that's a true testament to how good he's really been for how long now.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to bring that up as well. Like, is it a stretch? Obviously, he's the most talented player to ever play for the Wild, but is it a stretch to say he's the best player that's ever played for the Minnesota Wild? I feel like it's not.
I feel like it's not either. I mean, who are you going to take over him right now? I mean, the only guy we've retired the number of is Mikko Koivu. And I mean, we can sit around and talk about how great Mikko Koivu was to the franchise because he was here a long time. He's the captain forever. But at the same time, like, what did he really accomplish when he was here? I mean, not that much. Nobody would ever classify him as like this true game-breaking talent of a center compared to his peers in the league at any point in his career. So I think it's got to be Kaprizov, even though it's been a short time. I think it's got to be him.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Kaprizov, I think, is very widely considered like a top 10 player, if borderline top 10, if not top 10 in the league. And the Wild have never had a player that's been, of that caliber. So I mean, it's just amazing what having a true superstar can do. And then you pair him with a guy like Matt Zuccarello, who is an extremely selfless teammate. He almost passes too much, but some of his, his vision is insane. And some of the passes he makes, that overtime goal with Kevin Fiala against the Avalanche, just another great play by Zuccarello. There's 3 good passes on that play. Kaprizov to Ek, then Ek had the back pass to Zuccarello, and then Zuccarello over to Kevin Fiala. Just insane play. But that's literally like, your 4 best forwards out on the ice at the same time. So yeah, craziness, man. But it's super exciting. And honestly, I don't think the playoffs can start soon enough. I know they still got basically a whole month left here until the playoffs get rolling in early May, but I'm just ready for the playoffs to freaking start, man. I want us to lock down this 2 seed, and then I'd prefer to play Nashville over St. Louis, I think. But honestly, I'll take either one. As long as we get home ice, I think we have a shot.
Yeah, for sure. Keep an eye out the rest of the season. We still got the Blues in a couple more games, a couple more matchups here coming up in the next month. So I think it's worth paying special attention to those games because that's a potential first-round matchup that we got to be able to find our way out of. Because if you can't beat the Blues, you're not going anywhere. Because you can't even start thinking about Colorado then. So I think it's going to be important to win those games, take care of business, and really put together some good performances. Then you feel good going to the playoffs. Then you really have a chance to go toe-to-toe with the best team in the league, the odds-on favorite for the Stanley Cup. And, I mean, you just proved on Sunday that you can play with them and you can definitely win games and hopefully maybe even a series. But we got to get to that point first, and it's going to take winning a series against either the Blues or, like you mentioned, Nashville.
That's what's crazy, too, about this Western Conference is it's just going to be a gauntlet to get out of the conference if you want to get to the Stanley Cup. And then not to mention the East is even crazier this season with just how many good teams they have out East. So, yeah, getting through St. Louis, let's say round 1, but then you got Colorado round 2 and then potentially Calgary round 3. Like those are 3 just absolute bruising series that the Wild are going to have to prepare for. But like you said, you got to take it one step at a time. You need to win that first round series, regardless of who it is. I mean, this team made it to 7 games last year in the first round. It's time to go beyond that and, win a series, get deeper in the playoffs. And this team's got the makings of being able to make a run. So I don't think there's any excuse why they shouldn't at this point, other than, maybe just Colorado's just that much better than them. But Colorado's known to choke in the playoffs as well. So it'll be interesting.
Yes, totally agree. I think we have a team that can slow them down, and we can play some good hockey, but just all come together, especially at the right time. I think timing is everything. So I
Yep.
think we'll have to see. Right now, it's all good and great. We're winning 6 in a row and stuff, and our goalies like Talbot are playing out of their mind, and we got Fleury now. But it's all going to come down to how you play. If you're playing your best hockey at the end, and that's ultimately what's going to carry you or not through these playoffs, whether it's a short exit or a long run. So I can't wait to find out. Like you said, just all these wins leave you wanting more and more
Yeah.
important games like the ones you play against Colorado.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be fascinating to watch, and it's great that the Wild will be able to. I mean, I guess the Twins start here in a couple of weeks, but the Wild are going to take us at least all the way up through mid-May, probably. So,
Yep.
pretty crazy that it kind of helps with the NHL having a later season, but it's gonna be fun to watch down the stretch. But that's gonna do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Like I mentioned earlier, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please do so and give this video a like and help us reach other Minnesota Wild fans. Feel free to give us a follow on both Twitter and Instagram, and leave your comments below. What are your thoughts on the Wild beating Colorado in overtime? What are your thoughts on us potentially being able to make a playoff run here? As the Wild seem to definitely have things back on track with their 6-game winning streak, and hopefully they keep adding to it. They got Philadelphia coming up, and I know Pittsburgh's towards the end of the week here too. That'll be a tougher one, but let us know your thoughts below. And until next time, thanks for watching.